Opposition leader warns Jamaicans about falling into a false sense of assurance with the passage of the Special Zones Bill. Good evening and thanks for joining us for Primetime News on air and online at onespotmedia.com. I'm Dorraine Samuels. Also this evening, the Education Ministry to establish timeout facilities for students with antisocial behavior. And multi-million-dollar drug bust in St. Catherine. There's also Saturday Sports Special within the newscast. Stay with us to news in detail after this break. Welcome back to Primetime News and a special welcome to viewers on onespotmedia.com. Remember as well that you can watch TVJ live by downloading our One Spot Media app in the Google Play Store or the App Store. That's the number 1 followed by the word Spot and Media. The opposition leader, Dr. Peter Phillips, is warning not to fall into a false sense of assurance that the security forces operation in special zones alone will solve crime. Dr. Phillips was speaking at a luncheon in St. Catherine yesterday. TVJ's Dashan Hendricks reports.
Crime continues to surge with multiple murders in various parishes, almost a daily occurrence. The government has rushed the Zones of Special Operations Bill through Parliament, hoping that from the middle of this month, the security forces will have new powers to cauterize the scourge. But opposition leader Dr. Peter Phillips is keen to warn Jamaicans not to believe the security forces, even operating under the provisions of the new bill, will be able to contain crime without getting more resources.
The truth of the matter is that we have heard that there is need for substantial increase of resources for the police force. We said so ourselves in the budget debate. It seems as if it is now being discovered 2 months after the budget passed that they need more resources. But it's self-evident you can't cut $2 billion from the budget of the Security Ministry and expect that they're going to be able to meet the challenge, which is at a high point as it is now.
But he didn't stop there. The man who is positioning himself to lead the country in the future expressed dismay at the silence from civil society groups over runaway murders, which are threatening to reach new heights for a calendar year in 2017.
The country has to be mobilized. This is a task that cannot be performed by the government alone. This is a task that requires the mobilization of all well-thinking Jamaicans. The church, the clergy, the school system, the private sector, citizens association, everyone who is on the side of justice and peace needs to be mobilized to resist the onslaught of criminality, which is the main threat right now to the survival of our nation.
He admits the threat has been with us for some time and reflects the failure of successive governments to create a more equal society. Dashan Hendricks, TVJ News.
The Education Ministry, as part of its response to the increasing level of antisocial behavior among students, has indicated that it will be putting in place more timeout facilities across the school regions. Addressing the National Association of Deans of Discipline conference on Thursday, Education Minister Senator Racquel Reid indicated that these facilities will provide an additional option to school administrators before they go the route of expulsion. TVJ's Dara Smith reports.
The issue of violence in school is not new. It's an issue which has been a concern for many. For educators, it's an issue caused by a few, students that is. These are students with antisocial behavior who, through their actions, continue to disrupt the teaching-learning process. For Education Minister Senator Racquel Reid, while expulsion is an option used by many administrators, the ministry wants to first try another route.
There will be students from time to time in our schools that require some external intervention to deal with some of those on the line. Because when you see students acting up a particular way, there obviously are issues, crises in their lives that need to be resolved.
Speaking to deans of discipline, the minister urged them to be alert and understand what's happening in the society and how it impacts schools. Acknowledging that deans of discipline are front and center for the management of safety and security in schools, Mr. Reid pointed out that the Education Ministry must now support their role by ensuring that they have adequate to get the job done. The ministry is now working to bolster their efforts by installing CCTVs across schools.
We are going for the highest grade technology with analytics and artificial intelligence capabilities, so that will assist you very greatly, even in not only tracking weapons that are being brought on campuses, but even identifying students who are high risk. If you see them with persistent type behavior, then you can be able to easily identify them and track them.
The minister has urged the deans of discipline to take an interest in student attendance pattern. Dara Smith, TVJ News.
The Child Development Agency, CDA, says it has a big challenge with space when placing children in state care facilities. As a result, the agency is pushing for more Jamaicans to foster children with behavioral problems. TVJ's Janella Precius reports.
4,600 children in 59 state care facilities across the island. In addition, the Child Development Agency, CDA, says it gets at least 250 cases each week, which works out to some 14,000 cases per week to investigate. And while investigating these cases, Director of Children and Family Program says the agency will have to find spaces to put these children. It's a big problem for the CDA.
Especially for teenagers, we're really short of space for the adolescents.
Not to mention thousands of cases the agency has been trying to prevent from going to the courts, which would add to the problem. But while the CDA is grappling with a space shortage, some state care facilities are also closing. Over a 2-year period, at least 4 child care facilities have been closed.
2 due to fire, 1 their change of use, and another one because of community conflict.
An even bigger problem for the agency, which is finding it difficult to place some of these children.
So sometimes when you have to work with the child and when you find a family member, usually a single mother, you find that that parent also has mental health issues. So that's a big thing because we have to make sure that we have a psychologist to work with the child or a psychiatrist, and there are not enough space for children with mental health issue to have a residential space.
She does not think setting up new homes would be the answer to the problem. Instead, she feels more foster care is needed.
The thinking also is that we would look at, and we have put it in the amendment of the Child Care and Protection Act, where we are going to regulate the foster care. So one of the things that we have to look at is if we could go to have foster group homes, for example, because right now a foster family cannot take more than 4 children. But if we have small group homes with the therapeutic foster care and so on, then we would be able to leverage the space issue.
However, foster care in Jamaica is moving at a slow pace as many Jamaicans are skeptical about taking in these children with the various behavioral issues. Janella Precius, TVJ News.
A call is being made for greater monitoring of the country's food offerings in the tourism industry to ensure that certain standards are adhered to. The call was made at Thursday's launch of the Jamaica Tourism and Health Program, which is expected to provide greater protection for issues such as litigation, reputational damage and economic loss. TVJ's Dara Smith reports.
Data from the Health Ministry have revealed that for the last 17 years, there has been an increasing number of large and costly disease outbreaks affecting the country and the Caribbean region. These outbreaks have contributed to a decline in visitor arrivals, increased litigation, reputational damage, and economic loss. For example, foodborne diseases continue to pose a challenge.
Diseases commonly transmitted through food include a broad group of illnesses caused by microbial pathogens, parasites, chemical contaminants, and biotoxins. Travelers' diarrhea, for example, is the most common health problem and travelers to Jamaica. A survey of over 30,000 departing tourists over the last 16 years found that 23%, almost a quarter, just below a quarter, suffered from travelers' diarrhea during their stay.
It's an issue Jamaica and the rest of the region is now grappling with to ensure it remains at a reduced level. Dr. Delahaye believes it is necessary for tourism-reliant countries to ensure that visitors can safely benefit the experience. According to Dr. Delahaye, this is by ensuring that hotels and restaurants serving the tourism sector apply safe food handling and environmental sanitation practices. For Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett, 88% of the world travel for food. So with Jamaica now trying to build out its food tourism experience, it's a well-timed launch.
We have something to protect. We have an economy to protect here. And nothing damages international travel than health scares and health pandemics.
He says these are threats that test the resilience of the industry, but as well they force stakeholders to develop strategies to combat the challenges. And that's the aim of the Jamaica Tourism and Health Program, to add value by improving the quality and the competitiveness of the tourism industry through improved environmental monitoring systems.
Threats can be detected earlier, problems nipped in the bud to minimize human, economic, and reputational damage.
Dara Smith, TVJ News.
Cocaine valued at more than $92 million was seized on Friday in a house in Portmore, St. Catherine. It was seized at Caribbean Estates during an anti-narcotics operation conducted between 4 and 11 p.m. A 36-year-old unemployed man was held in connection with the seizure. He will face the St. Catherine Criminal Court on Thursday. It's reported that during the operation, 70 parcels containing cocaine were found in 3 large traveling bags and a suitcase. The cocaine weighed 170 pounds. The senior citizen killed yesterday in a motor vehicle crash along the Spur Tree Main Road in Manchester has been identified. He's George Heron of a New Forest, Manchester address. It's believed he was in his late 70s. According to the police, Mr. Heron was descending the Spur Tree Main Road when he attempted to overtake a truck. The Suzuki motor car in which he was traveling got out of control and crashed into the truck, then collided with the trailer truck traveling in the opposite direction. The crash occurred about 12:30 yesterday afternoon. In our Jamaica Reflections today, Earl Moxham presents part 2 of a 3-part look at changes in downtown Kingston over the years since independence.
This photograph was taken at the intersection of Harbour Street and King Street in downtown Kingston. And here we are today at the same location. So what are the people's thoughts on the changes here and elsewhere in downtown Kingston?
Building them are the same structure, same old building them differently.
They're getting worse?
Building them, yeah man. Deteriorate some of them, but some of them built firm from the beginning, so them still stand, you know.
You'd like to see some improvement to those buildings?
Well, I love to see some new building and some new things, get the place fresh again.
But suppose they can improve the old buildings?
Well, they do that.
Over the years, being a company move, other big companies move uptown. The violence in downtown Kingston, then the storage ships stopped coming to Kingston Harbour, which brought tourists, and there's a London shop over there, so another established shop, Time store there, and all these things over the years moved abroad or wherever.
Down Kingston Mall, they wanted to improve the whole place down there, so I wish to God it's really come up, because more people are coming down, opening shops down there, so I think sooner or later it will be much better.
There's still hope. Downtown Kingston offers, through the government, incentive for business people or so inclined business people to invest in downtown Kingston. So that is a big boost for people to come and rebuild downtown Kingston.
Next, we'll examine whether there are indeed signs of a brighter day for downtown Kingston as we continue our reflections on this independence journey. Earl Moxham, TVJ News.
Stay with us. International news after the break.